Here we have a left-sided humerus, and we are going to talk about the muscle attachments that are present on the humerus. So first of all, let's talk about the head of the humerus. We mentioned that it has a head and then it has a lesser tubercle. So on the lesser tubercle we have the insertion of the subscapularis muscle. Then we talked about a structure that is present on the lateral surface. It is called as a greater tubercle. The greater tubercle has insertion of three muscles: supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor muscle. On the lesser tubercle we have the subscapularis. On the greater tubercle we have supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor muscles. Now let's talk about the insertion that is present on the intertubercular sulcus. On the lateral lip we have the insertion of the pectoralis major muscle. On the floor of the intertubercular sulcus we have the insertion of the latissimus dorsi muscle, and on the medial lip we have the insertion of the teres major muscle. Laterally on the deltoid tuberosity we have the insertion of the deltoid muscle. On the lower half of the anteromedial and anterolateral surface we have the origin of a muscle that is called the brachialis muscle. And on the upper two-thirds of the lateral supracondylar ridge we have the origin of the brachioradialis muscle, and on the lower one-third we have the origin of the extensor carpi radialis longus muscle. Now let's talk about the muscles that originate from the medial epicondyle and medial supracondylar ridge. On the lower half of the medial supracondylar ridge there is the origin of the pronator teres muscle, and on the anterior aspect of the medial epicondyle we have the origin of the common flexor muscles. The anconeus muscle originates from the posterior aspect of the lateral epicondyle. So let's review these muscles. On the lesser tubercle we have the insertion of the subscapularis muscle. On the greater tubercle we have the insertion of supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor muscle. On the lateral lip of the intertubercular sulcus we have the pectoralis major muscle. On the floor of the intertubercular sulcus we have the latissimus dorsi insertion, and on the medial lip we have the insertion of the teres major muscle. On the deltoid tuberosity we have the insertion of the deltoid muscle, and on the lower half of the anteromedial and anterolateral surface we have the origin of the brachialis muscle. On the upper two-thirds of the lateral supracondylar ridge we have the brachioradialis muscle, and on the lower one-third we have the extensor carpi radialis longus muscle. And then on the anterior aspect of the lateral epicondyle we have the origin of the common extensor muscle. Now let's talk about the medial epicondyle. We have the origin of the common flexor muscle on the anterior aspect of the medial epicondyle, and then on the lower one-third of the medial supracondylar ridge we have the origin of the pronator teres muscle. That summarizes the muscular attachments that are present on the humerus bone. Hope that was a good review for you guys. Thank you very much.